Hi everyone, my name is Butlaleno Bumilelo, and I would like to offer a tarot and energy reading for you today. This is the first energy reading that I'll be doing on my YouTube platform. I'm transitioning from TikTok to YouTube to allow me to do longer videos and to also allow me to go more in depth in the way that I engage with my readings. If you want to know more about me, I also have another YouTube channel where I'll be talking about my experiences as a young black adult in South Africa and how I engage with the structures that we exist under from a deconstructionist and decolonized perspective. I also have a TikTok which does the same thing that this YouTube is meant to do. And so if you want to get to know me more, if you want to get to know the topics that I approach in my life and the interests that I engage with, then I will put my details in the bio, but I'll also show you the pages that you can access me at. So for today's reading, I'm just going to do a general reading for the collective, especially if you're in South Africa. I would just like to inform you that the way that I engage with my readings is from a decolonized and deconstructionist perspective because I believe for myself that spirituality and astrology and these tools to exist are meant for liberation, and I cannot remove them from my political engagement as a person who seeks liberation for all oppressed peoples. And so this is the angle that I'll be doing my readings from. And also that means that I will be doing them from an expansionist perspective, which means that I would like to expand on a lot of the information that I may be receiving while I channel in a way that allows more possibilities for people to exist under these systems that force us to see things in one way or to believe things in one way. So I do hope you enjoy this reading. If you want to get your own personal reading, I will leave my email in the description box and then you can hit me up and let me know. I'll give you the details as to the different types of readings that I offer and we will go from there. But thank you for watching. Please remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And also, if you feel like it doesn't resonate, maybe open yourself up to the opportunity to be challenged. Maybe there could be an opportunity to learn, to discover something, or to grow. This is a space that I would like to cultivate for us to do healing work that can often be difficult, that can often be triggering, but these are always going to be opportunities for growth because that's what liberation also pursues. But it at the same time will allow you to find ways to cultivate joy, rest, peace, and abundance, which is a lot of what you learn in the spiritual community. So let's get into it. I decided to do this reading today because of the significant astrological events as well as the spiritual shifts that are happening within this year and that are the culmination of a lot of what has happened during the last year, during 2023, and the cycles that are closing and the new cycles that are beginning. I haven't been doing readings for a while because I've had to calibrate within my own life, in my spiritual and personal life, these different changes and shifts into my reality. And so I'm only now opening back up into doing these readings and allowing myself to begin channeling again as I believe I'm in a more grounded and also inspired state because of what I've learned from all these recent months and years. Um, these are the decks I'll be using. Please do not judge my tarot deck. Um, yeah, just don't do it. You understand why I say that, but this is just a general tarot deck. It's actually, I don't know if they call it a classic, but it's a Rider Waite tarot deck. And I love it a lot because I love just the traditional imagery on it. I feel like it's very organic. No shade to the other tarot decks. I might just be saying that because I don't have them and I'm a little bit strapped for cash to get them. But I will always get the opportunity to get them at some point. And then I'll also be using this, the Starseed Oracle. This is the card, sorry, these are cards that I use mostly to get insights about advice or perspectives that are helpful or directions that can be taken as you get these insights and downloads from the channel. So I just want to give you a disclaimer. I'm not going to channel in a conventional way because I also love engaging with stories and storytelling. So I might use a lot of analogies. I might refer to the expertise that I have in terms of what I've learned about reality, either spiritually or physically or academically. I'm just going to see what comes to mind, how I interpret the messages from the cards, and yeah, it's more about the way that the energy presents itself than giving a direct way to interpret the energy. I don't really engage in like a particular framework in terms of like doing relationship readings or love readings or career readings or finance readings. I'm more in a self discovery, not even self improvement, but really tapping into the creative journey of becoming yourself or of becoming in general, of being. I like to add a lot of layers and depth, expanding inwards and outwards in the way that I read my energy. So it won't be just as direct as saying this is going to happen in your career, this is going to happen in your love life, this is going to happen with people around you. It can happen that those messages come about, but that's not how I'm going to approach it because I do not want to box the energy in. I would rather like to explore and flow within it. So I hope you enjoy. I am neurodivergent, autistic, and ADHD, so that adds to why I kind of explore it in this way. I don't know how to be conventional, but I guess that's kind of obvious by the fact that I'm doing this either way. So let's get into it. So, whether you may know or not, whether you have felt this or not, there have been major shifts that have occurred spiritually, energetically, astrologically, culturally, societally. Like, um, if you haven't felt this or seen this, then I would encourage you to open up to learning about different people, about what's going on in your society in terms of current affairs or the different people that exist. I would really encourage you to like open up your world a bit because from my understanding, there's been a lot of unprecedented events that have occurred over the last few years, at least from the pandemic in 2020. And so we are almost entering an entirely new era of reality of the globe that, as the humans that exist now, we are the first humans to ever encounter something like this. Humans that came before us didn't have the information through, the internet, through academia, through social media. They didn't have the global connectedness, the ability to connect to people all across the world, even just by sitting at home. We are the first era of humans to be able to actually experience what we're going through now. And so this is something really fresh and really new for a lot of people. And there's different types of people that are now coming about. Not to say that they didn't exist before, but there's now new expressions of humanity that are coming about. There's new avenues that are opening up for people because of the fact that so much newness is occurring. And 2025 is a 9 year because of the numerology of 2025. If you don't know how that works, you just add all the digits of the year. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 gives you 9. In numerology, 9 is a number of endings. And fun fact, I'm also a life path 9. Um, don't ask me how that's going. But anyway, 2025 is the year of 9, which is the year of endings. So it's also a year of transformation because in spirituality, in astrology, death, which is associated with ending, is also associated with transformation, with beginning, because when something ends, something new begins. Because in spirituality, we know that energy can never be destroyed nor created, it can only be transferred or transformed. And so the energy that is ending in the year 9 is going to be transferred or transformed into something new as we begin the new cycle of the years, which starts next year officially when we enter 2026. Also, what's happening within that is astrologically a lot of planets are changing signs. The sun is not a planet, so it always changes signs every month or so, every 25, 6, 7, or 8 days. Changes signs. This is what is the astrological year, goes from Aries to Pisces. And so now, as I'm filming this, we are nearing the end of Pisces season, which is the end of the astrological year. The beginning of Aries season is also the beginning of the new year. So coincidentally, as the sun goes into Aries within this month of March, there are a lot of signs, there are a lot of planets, especially outer planets, that will also be changing into Aries within this month or after the sun goes into Aries. Saturn is in Pisces right now, Mercury is also in Pisces, I think, or it's in Aries, it's going to go back into Pisces and then go back to Aries. Venus is in Aries right now, it's retrograde. Mercury is also retrograde. Neptune is entering Aries at the end of the month, around the 29th of March. And so there's just a lot of energy of new beginnings because Aries is the first of the zodiac. And this is what also then gave me the inspired desire and initiative to take this action to also start a new beginning on this channel. This is kind of just the background and the backdrop of what energies will be affecting or are likely affecting you as an individual, especially if you find yourself particularly sensitive to energies, to astrology, astrological events, so like planetary shifts, season changes. And if you are already interested in those things, you are likely going through your own interpretation or your own embodiment of how these shifts are happening in your life. Then we also have political events, which I won't really be engaging with right now in the sense of being able to explain because so much is happening, which is also likely affecting you in a spiritual sense, even if you might not be able to explain it. But it is the evidence of the shifts that are happening spiritually and astrologically. So I'm just going to try and tap into the channel to try and see if there's like a specific message that can be like channeled for the people who are going to be viewing this video. For me, what I know is that what I've been experiencing in relation to all this is particularly because, and I think I also have to add this, I think for me, the energy readings and the tarot readings that I'll be doing will be for a specific audience which allows themselves to be vulnerable and sensitive to these energies, but also knows how to regulate their emotions, how to navigate this with discernment, with compassion, with grace, knowing just how difficult it is being overwhelmed by everything that's happening. I want to particularly read for and engage with people who are on a journey of self discovery and also who are doing work to integrate all the different aspects of themselves that they find out through this journey, which is healing work, also called shadow work, which it is liberation work. I engage with people that are on this journey because I'm on this journey, and so these are the concepts that I'm familiar with. These are the concepts that I'll be working with and engaging with as I do the readings. If you are just beginning, there might be some things that I say that will be a bit triggering. I do apologize in advance if anything I say triggers you, but as I've said before, I would like you to allow yourself the opportunity to work with what that might mean for you if you are just beginning this journey or you're just finding out that you could be, affected by certain things that, you've never heard before or that people have said that you didn't like. It's okay if you also don't like. That's completely okay. But at least if you do allow yourself the process of investigating why you don't like it, um, then it's an opportunity to get to know yourself a bit more. So yeah, I work with the practice and the praxis of liberation, self-discovery, healing, trauma work, shadow work, because my ultimate goal is to work with people who are trying to find a way to learn more about themselves so that they can live the best life that they can given the circumstances that we're under, and that want to even approach ideals or realities of abundance, community, and success outside of the norm, success that depends on their specific desires for their lives. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, the way that I've been experiencing this is it has been quite difficult. I've felt particularly I want to say like I have been struggling, but more so in the sense that I'm integrating a lot of like parts in myself that I've found really difficult to engage with, and also recognizing just how difficult it is to be doing this work, this shadow work and healing in the society that we're in, and still allowing myself to pursue my life given the resistance that I've faced. And so I would like to assume that this may be how some of you are feeling, in the sense that as things start to get a lot more pressurizing, maybe politically or even spiritually, as these shifts continue to like encourage and maybe even to some extent force you to face yourself and force you to transform, to let go of old patterns, to let go of old mindsets and perspectives, to really push you into becoming who you said you want to be or who you know you want to be. There might be this sense of, is it really worth it? How am I going to be able to do this knowing that I might not have the resources that I need? The economy is really difficult to navigate, especially if you're someone who is deviating from the norm. These might be the challenges that you're facing, but then there's maybe just this intuition, this sense of knowing that there is some new beginning coming, something that's inspiring you to take it even further, even though it's this difficult. It's almost like the imagery that I've gotten recently a lot is a phoenix rising from the ashes, where you've been through the fire. And this fire is going to be a strong theme, given that we're going to be engaging with Aries in so many planets. And Aries beginning in March now, Aries season. Fire is going to be a really strong theme where it's going to be talking about the spark that begins this new life, that begins this new chapter, but also with the analogy of the phoenix, where you've gone through the fire, you've gone through the purification, that thing that refines you. If I can find it, I will find a video of what happens when gold is turned into the gold that we know that we're acquainted with, the jewelry. But it first becomes the bar. They put it in a furnace. They do this with a lot of metals when they are mining and refining. It's literally called refining. But in order for you to become that gold, you first have to go through that fire. I don't want you to take it too literally, because a lot of the time, especially with the way that we're conditioned by these systems, we justify suffering as if the suffering is what makes us great. And most of the time, it's just trauma. You don't have to suffer that much. But what I'm specifically talking about is when you have gone past the recognition that you know you deserve better. So it's that fire that purifies you into the person that finds or attracts that which you desire, the person that has the courage to go through it. Other readers who have watched often talk about how these things that you want to manifest, there's realities that you want to step into, you want to become a certain type of person, but you before, in the past, you weren't going to be able to do the things that you want or the things that you desire or the things that you're pursuing, because you are not the person that you feel like can do those things. So you have to go through that process of becoming that person, becoming the person that has that confidence. And it's not to say that it's impossible for you to do those things when you don't have the confidence, but often, even with the barriers that are presented by society, you can also be a person that, self sabotages or doesn't allow yourself that benefit of believing in yourself. So spiritually, you go through that process of really like having to deal with different like polarities of hopelessness, powerlessness, but also ambition, drive, courage, and bravery, where you swing between the two, and ultimately you can even just bring them together and say, I don't know if this is going to work out. I have no idea how the future will look and whether these are the right steps to take, but I'm going to do it anyway because I believe in myself. I believe I deserve better. I believe the reality that I want is real and it wants me just as much. It fits me. I align with it just as much as I'm working to align with it. So let's get some cards. Let's see what the universe has to say. And I said, don't judge my cards, because what happened was, um, I think I spilled juice by accident where I was putting them, and so juice is sweet and it has the sugar that makes it sticky, and so some of my cards got stuck together. And one day I was just like, I'm not gonna abandon them because I love the imagery so much. I'm just gonna use them the way that they are, and what are you gonna do about it? So, as long as you get the message, don't hate the messenger. Don't blame the messenger. So, I'm going to draw some cards. I consulted with the guides, with the universe. Um, I consulted, oh, girl, look at it. I consulted with the guides and the universe before I did this. So, they've been very much present throughout all of this. Say hi. Say hi. Thank you. And at first, we got the Ace of Wands, which literally, like, it couldn't be any clearer that it's talking about not only a new beginning, but wands are fire. And I've been saying Aries is going to bring in that fire, that spark. Ace of Wands is the card of that spark of idea, the spark of energy, the spark of inspired action. And so this is a very good girl. These people are very excited. These people are very excited. They, I guess, are very happy. We've got Temperance at the bottom. The card that just fell was Hierophant, and it speaks to like um, this Hierophant card speaks to the spiritual aspect, spiritual wisdom, spiritual teaching. The Hierophant is known as the teacher, spiritual teacher of the tarot deck. Temperance is just talking about what I was talking about with the balancing and the moderating of being between these opposite ends of hopelessness and bravery. So let's see what more they have to say. Um, this Hierophant also speaks to having gone through, having gone through this Pisces season, which was teaching us a lot about depth, spiritual depth and spiritual wisdoms that are gained through experience, not just through reading or watching videos or hearing people talk, but actually gaining them for yourself, as opposed to the high priestess, which is more like tapping into or attuning yourself to the spiritual environment and trusting the like energies and the information that you get through your intuition. The Hierophant talks about the spiritual teachings that you learn for yourself as you navigate your life and go on your journey to learn about yourself. So we just got the Justice card, which is so cute, so cute, and we also got the Five of Cups. I'm just going to get a few more cards and then we'll work with what the message says. So I generally use the tarot to get the energy reading so that I can understand what we're working with, what the specific collective that I'm channeling is experiencing energetically and spiritually. And then I use the oracle to get some insights, perspectives, and advice as to how to navigate what I'm getting a lot. Obviously, as I've said, I think this speaks to that hopelessness and the powerlessness that I was talking about. Because this is a card of grief, it's a card of loss, it's a card of even depression to some extent. And particularly with the Pisces season as well, it is talking about the depth of emotion, right? And especially if you're a person who's marginalized or experiences like daily oppression, or you're just in a situation where you feel like you have a lack of control and you're being treated in a way that doesn't align or serve you and your true self. You don't feel seen, you don't feel heard, you don't feel appreciated or valued, and you don't feel validated. I know people often say though that you shouldn't seek external validation, but I am someone that believes in community. I value community so much because within my African spirituality, I am rooted in the idea of being who you are because of the people around you. As the Ubuntu proverb says, I am because we are. And I believe that even with the trauma that you can experience, that largely shapes who you are. But then the opposite can be true, where you experience love from other people and you are validated in your truest self or your most accepted self. And people can tell you to not seek external validation, especially because of the situation that we are under in terms of societal standards and social norms. But I think it's valid to have a community or a support system of people who genuinely do love and appreciate you and in your existence, just who you are. And it's okay to want people around you who validate your existence. Um, so that was just like a diversion, a tangent that I was going on because this is some of like the teachings that I've learned in my own journey, that I deeply desire community. I deeply desire love from people who appreciate who I am, like in the way that I exist. And I haven't been, excuse me, I don't do reversals. Um, I work with readers, like I listen to tarot readers who do reversals, but I think for me, I just don't anymore. I think it's okay because the message is going to come out either way. But the world came out, and yeah, it speaks to what I was talking about in terms of cycles and the year 9 thing about 2025. If the cards don't fall out, I might just end up pulling them out. So I'm just going to take a few more. But yeah, as I said, I personally believe in community. I love people. I love friendship. I love, and I believe humans have so much of the capability to love, across all the differences and diversity that we are as a species. I honestly believe in liberation for this reason because I think love is the highest form. If we're going to talk about vibration and frequency, authenticity and love are the two highest forms of those. And I don't believe in hierarchy. So when I say highest, I don't mean like they are more important or they have more value. I think what I mean is just that they give us the most capability to enjoy existing, not to just survive, but to enjoy being a human. Um, I don't believe that human growth is linear and that it goes from beginning to end. I think growth happens in cycles. I think growth happens in multiplicities. That's why you can have hopelessness and bravery coexisting. You can have fear and ambition happening at the same time. I believe in multi-dimensionality. So some things genuinely can't coexist together. It's like water and oil not really mixing together. So like love, authenticity also existing with judgment. You know, it's like they can, but they obviously will be like a strong cognitive dissonance. There'll be tension within the body, you know. But because I don't believe that healing and shadow work and all that are linear, then for me, it's like I think it allows me to have a more rich experience to consider that these things can happen at the same time, and they often do. And you growing as an individual is allowing them to have an impression on you, and then accepting that they do, and then being able to live with that. Whether they stop existing isn't something that should be as important as the fact that you get to live and still enjoy being yourself. You know, that's why compassion is important. Okay. Um, So I'm just gonna get a few cards. I've been shuffling this, just yapping. Hopefully this is helping you. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. So what's coming at me most strongly currently is the Five of Cups, which I've spoken about, and this Eight of Swords. And then the moon is often associated with Pisces, which I've been talking about a lot in this. The moon talks about confusion, illusion, hidden truths, things being in the dark. And I think along with this, especially when the person is blindfolded, they are also strapped or tied, and there's all these swords around them. We can often, or let me rather say, this experience over the past few months could have been something that genuinely made you feel stuck in the dark, right? I think with the political times that we're in, a lot of us are struggling to picture what the future is going to look like, and it looks especially scary for people who are experiencing marginalization, who are living under systemic oppression in whatever fashion, wherever they are, because it's a global thing right now. And with the way that governments have been operating, with the way that the economy has been going, it is extremely scary to be alive right now. And so when you are cognizant and you make sure to be aware of that happening, it tends to feel like this. I'm very acquainted with this card because like familiar, I feel this energy quite often. And swords are a mental set of the deck. So we have swords, we have wands, we have cups, and we have pentacles, which have all shown up in this deck. We have the wands, which I presented, the cups, which I've talked about, the pentacles, which I haven't shown yet, but I'll talk about just now, and then the swords. These are the four different decks. And coincidentally, the rest are called major arcana, which talk about life themes in general. So I'll get into those just now, but I wanted to speak about just experiencing the world as it is currently. It feels like this, especially if you're a marginalized person. The future seems uncertain. You feel like you can't see a way out, especially because of feeling trapped, and all these swords around you, especially because you can't see them. It's almost like you are certain there is a danger in the dark and the unknown, and you can't guarantee that even if you do get out of these bounds, these traps, being tied down, having your hands tied, even if you do get out, are you able to be safe in the dark? This is a recurring theme as well with grief, right? Because depending on how this grief is experienced for you as a person, it could be from anything, but I think collectively there's a grief of a promised future. You know what I mean? With these two together, it's like grieving what you were told your life could be, what you were told, by society you would be able to achieve, and then also feeling stuck at the same time. This is like the multiplicity of doing the healing work, doing the shadow work, or at least going on a self discovery journey. And allowing yourself to break free from molds that were placed on you, or indoctrination that you were taught over the years of your childhood, being a teenager, when you were young, basically. This is kind of like the dominant theme that you have to engage with. These are like the shadows that you confront when you do that work. And that's largely what Pisces is going into the deep end, going into the shadows, and seeking a truth higher than you. This is why it's also the collective. It's finding that interconnectedness amongst yourself and the people around you, or the people who go through the same experiences as you, or the same, face the same battles that you undergo and the challenges that you face. Pisces season, Pisces, the sign and the water element in general is about those emotional experiences. So this is what you ultimately gain, even if it's hard, even if it's difficult. You gain spiritual wisdom. You gain a sense of higher, maybe purpose, a higher calling, a higher knowledge system, and these types of experiences, are often what make you or give you a platform to cultivate your own faith. Even when it's dark, it's often you that has to find the spark within yourself or within the experience that you're going through. Like I said, this goes with the Pisces element of illusion, hidden truths, things being covered in the dark. That's why it's the moon. The moon illuminates in the dark, right? So I don't know if you noticed, kind of slowed down as I was talking. I think it's because I've kind of just felt how really draining that energy tends to be, because I know from my own experience how difficult it is going through grief, especially knowing that you're a person that doesn't fit in and like has your own path to follow in whatever respect, career path, um, spiritual path, or just in the way that you exist. You just don't fit the mold that you're told you're supposed to fit. So these energies tend to be really heavy to navigate, and it almost feels like stagnancy. It almost feels like being slowed down. And oftentimes it is. I mean, in the way that we're indoctrinated in the system, especially under capitalism, we are forced to be fast, 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 to be as productive as we need to be to make money or to get work. I mean, to get paid from work. And we don't really get the opportunity to rest. We don't get the opportunity to grieve, to experience our emotions. We don't get an opportunity to enjoy it. We're always thinking about survival. So, the importance of this new beginning is recognizing that it's about yourself, right? With these two, so now I get into the Two of Pentacles. Firstly, the Two of Pentacles does speak to what I was talking about with juggling those polarities, those opposites of pain, hopelessness, powerlessness, depression, and faith, bravery, self determination, courage. Um, it does literally feel like you're going swinging between two sides, and I'll try and find a gif or like a video of a pendulum swinging from one side to another. You know, I'm also looking at this imagery of the water at the back. I don't know if you can see. It's not calm. It's not really still. I can't say it's turbulent like a storm, but it's very wavy. And so even when you're going through this experience of juggling, you also kind of are riding the wave, so to speak. So I want to say it's actually quite useful to be doing this. It's even important to some extent because you don't want to shut yourself down from experiencing either. Because if you suppress pain, it gets stored in the body and then it affects you in the long run, and it also affects your subconscious, which then affects your foundation and your foundational beliefs, like the root of the beliefs that you have that make you operate the way that you do. But if you also then suppress faith, you suppress bravery, then you don't allow yourself possibility for change. You don't allow yourself possibility for something new, something different to happen that could actually lead you to, being able to heal from the pain, being able to comfortably experience the grief without feeling ashamed or guilty or judging yourself. This that I do is always led with compassion and grace. It's something that I have to hold myself accountable towards, even towards people that I or or other people think don't deserve it. Offering someone compassion and grace does not mean you don't hold them accountable. So I think this card really speaks to like really allowing yourself to engage with that multiplicity. And with these two cards now, this is the cycle. It's kind of like expanding now beyond your periphery or perspective and just seeing how you are connected to a larger experience or a larger sphere of reality. The world can also be the universe, and like how the universe is playing a part in the way that your reality and your destiny are manifesting. So it usually represents cycles that you're in, or it represents the universal influence in your life. This is one of my favorite cards. Um, because to me it has always had a like good connotation, and I don't use it in the sense of, how can I say, victim victimizing myself or having a victim mentality. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, especially when we live in a society where there's illusions and people are gaslit. But it's more so, to me, what it represents is when you allow yourself to be influenced, let's say in this context, you allow yourself to be influenced by the universe's ways, the universe's magic, the universe's cycles, and the cyclical nature of, rebirth and death and transformation, and then renewal and death and transformation and all that. The justice that you experience is not always going to be like material or financial or like physical and tangible, but it can be just being able to actually get that opportunity to be who you thought you could never be, who society told you you shouldn't be, or you are not allowed to be, or you'll never attain or achieve. Justice can be more around the self than it is around the things that you have, the success that you feel like you deserve. You are allowed to have that success, and it's likely that it will happen. But I love seeing it because it's a representation of the fact that the hard work of liberating yourself from these mental and spiritual chains and the psychological slavery and torture, the hard work of giving yourself the grace in a society that shames you, the hard work of, you know, being someone that you have to challenge yourself to be under oppressive systems pays off in ways that you don't even know or recognize until you see that I am actually not just a different person, but the person that I always thought I wanted to be, or the person that I always thought I could be, or even better than I thought I could be. This is why I love justice so much. Every time I get it in like a personal reading, it just, even when I'm feeling shitty, even when I'm feeling extremely down, it just lets me know that I don't necessarily believe in a right path because there's no way to know unless it aligns with you, but it allows me to see that I am aligning with what I've desired, the reality that I want for myself. So all in all, I'm just gonna get like 2 or 3 more cards to see if I can wrap up the energy. I feel a bit drained because I realize just like it can be really difficult um, to navigate all of this and still believe in hope. I think, especially for me, I got to that point where I was just like, universe win, like, because I don't enjoy believing in being tested. Um, I don't really know how to explain it. It's more so a thing of, um, I think, considering the political and economic state of the world type thing, where, um, because so much of the experiences that we have are not only out of our control, but they are also done by other humans. I don't enjoy believing that systemic oppression or experiences that are rooted in systemic oppression are a test, because it just sounds like what the oppressor would say. Suffering to me shouldn't be a test to, if you can commit to yourself, if you have the discipline. Um, but I was saying, like, I do get to those points where I'm just like, even the hopeful messages or signs or synchronicities or the hopeful feelings that I have are kind of overpowered by, this feeling of being stuck, the feeling of like, but I really don't have that much control over my life. So why would you make me feel this hopeful, even though not only have I tried, not only have I fought, not only have I started the healing, not only have I worked basically this hard to get to this point, I would hope that it does pay off in a way where I do finally feel safe. I finally feel heard and seen and all that. Um, I have those feelings where, someone will tell you it's gonna be okay, or um, it looks like there are hints of, ooh, how cute. It looks like there are hints of like, oh my gosh, girl, not the load shedding. Nobody told me, and nobody told me nothing. But I'm moving on because I filmed so much. Oh my gosh, and my battery is dying. But I'm gonna finish this. As I was saying, I don't even remember, but I hope you can see me. Let me just get like two more cards. Six of Pentacles. I love this as well, and as well as this together. And this, I think, is so cute, right? So you're getting your spark back, number one, and genuinely, even if you feel down in the dumps and you feel like there's no hope, everything that you've done to get yourself to this point, the fact that you're still alive and you're seeking a better life, I'm telling you, it gets better. You just have to believe it. Because the universe, with its influence, is going to give back. It's going to give you a helping hand. I'm in a situation where I'm like, girl, win, you know. But oh my gosh, guys, ooh, cha, ooh, cha, ooh, cha, ooh, cha. I can't believe this. Ain't nobody told me nothing. Ooh, cha. Oh my gosh, I need to finish. So we have the Chariot, and then we also have the Fool. Oops. Girl, when I said the new beginnings, they were not lying. Fool is literally the first card of the deck. I told you don't judge. It's supposed to say zero there. First card of the deck, literally beginnings. The Fool is supposed to represent the ambitious, childlike essence of just starting a brand new journey, right? And the Chariot is also determined, ambitious, has like leadership qualities as well, but there's just a drive, right? A lot of people associated with fast movement, but it's not necessarily about it moving fast, more so as like the determination of like, I'm gonna get what I want, and I think it works both ways with like you finally getting your spark, right? It's like the universe appreciates courage, and therefore when you have the courage to move with the determination, it will also then move in the same direction with you and meet you halfway. As with this, right? It meets you where you meet yourself. So that's the energy right now. It's kind of like saying, hey, get ready, get ready to get ready to move, basically. And you're getting out of like, I'm going to just draw a few from the oracle because, yeah, I'm determined. Ooh, oh my God, get ready to move because, yeah, I think it's also that vibe of like the universe heard your prayers, they heard your concerns, they heard the things you were dreaming and wishing for, and then they saw you put in that effort, they saw you do that work. So it's now like, okay, your justice has arrived. Are you gonna go get it? Come take it. Do you believe now that you deserve the things that you desire? Do you believe that you're capable of leading the life that you want? Because it's here now for you. It's waiting for you to open the door. Yeah. Um. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Girl, don't fall. I can't see. Okay, I'm just gonna take these. It's two cards. Okay, no, one more, just to wrap up the message. Girl, South Africa. Anyways, we have called soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. We have activated Earth, um, power, places, ley lines. Trust where you are led. Google what ley lines are if you are interested. Star Brothers, Horus Energy Protection, Loyalty, Safety, Trust. Um, we've got lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. And lastly, surrender to the sweetness. Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. So that's what they were saying. Like, what did they say? It's time to step up. And don't put pressure on yourself, by the way. It doesn't mean that you have to now do some drastic performative action because then it's not true to you. It has to be true to you and it has to go with the capabilities and the capacity that you have, right? Especially with these two that are saying protection, loyalty, safety, trust. Prioritize those things that you know you deserve. That's how you will know that you're moving in the reality that you want. You're not going to get what you want by still being a hustler if that's not who you are. You're not going to get what you want by like you know, doing things that you know you're trying to get away from. Um, and that's why this card says anything unaligned must go. You know, if you want love and protection and loyalty and trust, present that to the universe and lead with that. Lead with the knowing that that's what you're trying to cultivate because that's what you believe for yourself. And these two speak about trust because, like I said, with the world card, allowing the universe's influence in your life. There's a spiritualist that I know who talks about the dynamic that they have with the universe, where they do 20% and the universe does 80. Because at the end of the day, if you know you don't have that much control, then why would you force it? Do as much as you're capable of and let the universe do the rest. Because the universe has the control at the end of the day, and there's much more outside of you. You're just one human out of 8 billion humans, and there's also animals and everything. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And then lastly, surrender to the sweetness. This is one I get every single time I pull these cards for myself. And I know my guys are always saying, bro, you gotta have fun. And I'm gonna say the same thing to you because it's a message for me as well. You have to enjoy it because that's what you ultimately are working towards, I'm assuming. When you go through this healing journey, joy is part of healing. Rest, pleasure, play, being in tune with your child self, your childlike essence. That is important because it's often when we are children that we are forced to lose all that and to subscribe to a system that doesn't want us to enable that part of ourselves. But pleasure, joy, make love to life. Live life as if you are in a love story, which is something another spiritualist that I watch who does readings talks about. She says that everything is a love story. You know, the career that you're in, you love it. The people that you're around, friends, family, peers, co-workers, lovers, sexual partners, that's love, that's why I say I believe love and authenticity are the highest forms of existence because they flow, they promote existence in the best possible way. And you just gotta treat it as if it's one big love story, even with all the grief, because I think that makes it richer. I think that makes it have a lot more depth. If you're not into that, that's okay. But I guess also this is kind of not the channel for you if you don't like depth. But yeah, so basically, just to sum it all up, it's all about stepping up for yourself, showing up for yourself, showing yourself that love, and trusting that the universe will meet you. And you can even scratch what I said about it meeting you halfway. Like, it's more about it's going to meet you where you meet yourself, number one, but also if you recognize that you don't have that much control, then don't force it. The universe is going to give you, it's going to control things in a way that align with what you put out. The 20% that you give, it'll give you the 80%. So that's the reading that I have for today. I persevered, right? I allowed myself to work in the dark and find that spark. You see me, I'm learning. I'm learning from my ancestors and the spirit guides and stuff, from the messages. Because nobody told me, guys, and I didn't charge my phone. Excuse me, confirmation or whatever. Nobody told me. Nobody told me. I'm using my other phone for the flash, right? It's like I feel like I'm looking at this camera, but I'm actually supposed to look there. So I'm sorry if it's kind of making it weird for you. But nobody told me. And nobody told me nothing. But I persevered and I got you the message that you need. Clap for me, clap for me. And yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed and I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I'll leave info in the description box if you want to book a personal reading. And also if you want to check out my other channel and my social media where I talk about all the things that are outside of spirituality but still affect modern day reality, historical reality, etc., etc. I love you guys, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day or you have a good night wherever you are, whoever you are. Bye.